Welcome to the Toucan Talks podcast, brought to you by Kickstart Collective. Join us as we talk to local Wilmington business owners about what has led to their successes, challenges, and more. No question is off limits as we bounce from topic to topic.
And this podcast is brought to you by Kickstart Studios. Kickstart Studios is Wilmington's newest video podcast studio. Equipped with multiple camera angles and an in-house producer, creating a high-quality video podcast has never been easier. Don't let the tech and gear learning curve hold you back from jumping into podcasting or created video content any longer. Our team takes care of it all for you so you can focus on the message you want to share. You simply show up, record, and receive the final product. No more wasting time setting up and breaking down the gear, setting up lights, or doing sound checks on your own. Our in-house producer will have everything set up and ready to go for you. Check us out at Kickstart Studios.
Welcome to Toucan Talks podcast, Jacob. You are,
your brother-in-law.
My brother-in-law. I was trying to think in terms of family members. We're getting close to getting through all of our business owner family members, which I started to think about is literally all of mine and Luke's siblings.
Yeah.
That are old enough to have a business.
I think it's the last name. If you have the last name Tippett, you just kind of have to have a small business. You didn't put your ringer on for...
I forgot to do this last time too. Our goal still is to get a spam call and just have it on speakerphone and talk to them in the middle of the episode.
I'm up for it if it happens.
We'll see. If it happens, I'll let you take the lead. But yeah, even on my side.
Yeah, on your side too.
So it's exciting times for all of our parents. Just a bunch of small business owner, entrepreneurial children. Yeah. So basically what we'll do is I'll let you introduce yourself. We can get into this too and get into questions, but I would say multiple businesses and career paths.
Ish, yeah.
Yeah, we can say multi-passionate entrepreneur as much as that's a term that gets thrown around too much. And then we'll drop these coins.
Okay.
So if it lands, you can drop it anywhere in the board. If it lands on a 1, we'll have more business questions. If it lands on a 2, then they're not business questions. So it's always fun when it's family members because you just know more things.
Yeah.
You can sneak into their houses and take pictures of their notebooks.
Sure.
And show I did
Thank
with
God
my dad.
I don't leave anything in notebooks.
When my dad was on, I had gone into their house to get something, and he had his list that he has a list of his things every single day for our entire lives. And so I took a picture of it. So then when we were on, I was like, talk about this list and how this organizes your life.
That's great.
So do you want to start with production online?
Sure.
Start there?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll just go ahead and give an overview.
Yeah.
So I have a couple different ventures. The first one that I started back in 2017 was a company called Production Online with 2 co-owners out of California. And that is an e-learning platform for church production professionals. So that was a really interesting one to build because it was all online, all virtual. You had to manage and strategize how to develop a library of content and then market that to volunteers and people in the church world, which was difficult at the start, but really meaningful and rewarding. So that's Production Online.
Nice. And then Sticky Notes.
Sticky Notes, yes. So that is a product company that I started with a close friend here in town back in 2018, 2019. And it is a dry erase sticky note that you can stick to any smooth surface. So jumping into the manufacturing world is completely different than the online world, or even just the small business, local, economy. So you have to learn a lot about
Time zones.
Time zones is a big thing. I think I work in 5 time zones right now. Yeah. So it's extremely taxing, but also it's kind of a party trick. So I can at any time, tell, if you tell me what time zone you're in, I can,
tell you the time.
I can tell you the time. So Sticky Notes was a really complicated one at the start, only because you have to learn a little bit about engineering. I was applying my background in graphic design and branding to kind of establish that side of things. You have product design, industrial design, which really is just the design of physical objects and how they are going to work in people's lives. So that's kind of sticky notes.
Cool. And then, not last, but maybe the last one we'll cover now, Pioneer Lab.
That
here
is
in
last.
Wilmington. That's last? Okay.
It's first and last.
First and last.
Only because I started it as a
child.
Yes, I was 20, I think, when I opened.
So you're an adult.
Yeah,
Technically
couldn't.
speaking.
I couldn't have champagne at the opening party.
No.
So, but you know that you couldn't have champagne at
my
your wedding. So you understand the feeling.
I joke that I was a child bride, and Luke gets really upset. He's like, "Don't say that." I was 20.
Yeah, of course. So the Pioneer Lab is a funny venture because it's not real. It's the most unreal business that I have, and yet it's the most real business because it's a physical space. So people look at it and it's like, oh, cool, but it doesn't make money. And I like to explain to people who are not entrepreneurs, they have to understand that entrepreneurial ventures are not inherently profitable.
No, I feel like most of them aren't.
No.
At least for a while.
You kind of just have to try a lot of different stuff, and the extremely successful people are the ones who are willing to stick with it.
Yeah.
And so the lab actually turned into a private workspace. It started as a public co-working space. Yeah. And part of that just was the evolution of eventually just wanting a space to create out of. And it also kind of gave a home to some of my friends who are small business owners for them to run their businesses.
Cool. Awesome. We're going to do one other, Joshua and I were talking before this. We're like, we need one other fun intro question.
Sure. And also I love podcasts that talk to their producers.
Oh yeah. You can, if you need him to fact check or
I
talk.
love it.
Yeah, he's there. Yes, exactly. So we were going to give you two options.
Okay.
In the same vein of the question. Your favorite Kendrick song or J. Cole song?
Oh no, you're bringing back my dark past of rap music.
Yes, yes we are.
I feel like I was much more... I actually never really listened to Kendrick Lamar.
Okay.
I listened to J. Cole predominantly when it comes to, because I went to the Dreamville Festival, and obviously before you go to any music festival, you have to listen to the entire discography of an artist.
Forever.
I'm pretty hell-bent on listening to an artist discography from start to finish. In 2022, that was Paul Simon, and the entire year I only listened to Paul Simon. It's dedication. It's obsessive.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I do. But with J. Cole, I would say...
Or do you have a favorite album? Is that easier?
Well, probably not. No, favorite song is easy with J. Cole.
Okay.
He has a song, I don't remember the name of it, but it goes like, I want to fold clothes with you. And it's about, he writes the song about his girlfriend.
Daily
and
life.
It's just genuinely his desire to just hang out with his girlfriend.
That's sweet.
It might have been his baby mama, actually.
That's okay too.
So
hey,
yeah,
even better actually, if that's the case.
Yeah.
That's funny. I love it. Okay. So yeah, which you come into play in this.
Yeah.
So if it gets stuck, because occasionally it'll get stuck on a peg, then you get to ask me a question.
Oh.
You can either, and that beautiful More Than Clay business card holder.
Oh, wonderful.
There's prompts if you need it, or you can just make it up.
Okay.
If it flies off the board 3 times, because sometimes these coins go wild.
Wow.
Then, as we were texting about, we'll find you a different prize if it happens. But in the future, we'll give them a pack of sticky notes. Cool. So that's the prize.
And that's sticky nodes with a D.
Yes.
Okay.
Nodes.
Stickynodes.com.
It's like a sticky note, but it's a node because it's better.
And because it's trademarkable. So
yeah.
Small business.
All right. Let's roll.
Plinko.
Plink.
I'm so sorry. Is it literally called folding clothes? That's great. If it didn't run into licensing issues, we would play it. But look it up if you're
maybe
watching.
Maybe we can create. Maybe the reel will be
perfect.
Audio reel. We
That's
can do it
awesome.
That way.
All right. I what I've learned with Plinko, because I used to watch Price is Right every day in high school, which you may ask why, because I'd go home for lunch, and I don't know how I was allowed to do that now, but I did. Yeah. You always start one to the right or one to the left, and that's how you get the best. See, it's in the center. I would have
Wow.
gotten like $10,000
Yeah,
right there.
I think technically that would have been like the $1,000 one.
Yeah, or yes, $1,000. I'm so sorry.
Well, for ours. Okay, well, this one, we'll just start jumping right in. So we are going to talk more we are talking more like business strategy stuff this season. So since you've been with multiple ventures from the beginning, what is your kind of initial step when you're coming up with the business strategy?
Yeah.
Like for someone who's like maybe in the beginning stages.
So you're talking like business strategy in terms of how to get to revenue? Like,
yeah, like what's kind of your like primary thing that you focus on when you're like, okay, we need to develop a strategy as we're like planning to launch this?
got it. So launch strategy and revenue strategy sometimes are different. When you're trying to actually get a product into the market, it requires a lot of different facets of your business. And so one of the easiest things that can happen is for you to focus on one thing. And so you can just want to do the marketing side, or you can just want to prep for fulfillment, or just want to get the website ready.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, I tend to steer towards, I just like the web side of things.
Yeah.
But in all reality, when you're building kind of a business strategy for launching, you really have to become multidisciplinary or find the right consultants to help you get a comprehensive strategy in place, because at the end of the day, unless if you're willing to learn it all, you're going to need some help.
Right.
So what I end up doing is I'll make kind of a list of all the different areas that need tasks accomplished in. So that's operational. So all the financial stuff, in the marketing side, social media and content creation, in the actual like business side, is your product ready for launch? If it's a web product, is it working properly? Have you beta tested it? If it's a physical product, does that work properly? Do you have it?
Stick?
Yeah, does it stick? Right. Do you have it in stock? Have your manufacturer shipped it to you? So many times, especially when you're planning your business strategy, you try to base it based on when the product is ready. But what ends up happening is you have a product that's ready to go, but you don't have a market for it. So you have to kind of understand that they both are needed. Like you can't ship a product to a market that's not ready, and you can't ship a product to no one.
Yeah.
And I think part of what people want to do is they want to focus on the product or on, everyone will love this.
Yeah.
But you really have to hold that in balance.
Yeah. I think that's good advice. We were talking yesterday. Was it yesterday? I don't know what day it is. Monday, Luke and I were talking, we're recording about like, as you're prepared, like your launch is like a lot of people think of it as this like 1 day event where they're going to launch and it's going to be beautiful, but it's like, what are you doing? And we were talking definitely more on the marketing side, but like, what is your marketing strategy leading up to your launch so that you have an audience that's ready or like warmed up for your launch?
And I'm actually not the best at launch strategy. And thankfully, my business partners in both Production Line and Sticky Notes are very good at that. Like they pay attention to the audiences and paid ads versus organic and those types of things. But it's essential because you think that people will say it'll sell itself, and it doesn't.
No,
it doesn't.
At least
sadly.
not. Maybe it did when we before. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
And you would think something as novel as a dry erase sticky note, everyone looks at it and is like, oh yeah, of course, I love that.
Yeah.
But no one knows, and no one knows about it. So you have to somehow get it in front of people.
Yeah. Especially, I guess, since it is a new idea and a new concept. So, cool. All right, let's drop another one.
Does that one stay there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I guess we'll go to the left one this time.
Okay.
Oh, another business question.
Last guest, it was all twos.
Oh, so all like fun questions?
Yeah. Okay. What is your process for setting goals for, and you can just pick on one business if that's easier, but setting goals for like a year?
Yeah, so I'll talk about Production Online on that one because I have co-founders on that. Cool. And I guess in all my businesses except the lab, I have co-founders. And we will do an annual kind of strategy call as stakeholders.
When do you do that?
We do it the first week of January.
Okay.
We are very strict on it being within the first like 2 or 3 weeks of January, because we go over business performance for the last year.
Nice.
I will say in certain businesses like Production Online, things are things can look different seasonally, in terms of finances and in terms of, how the product is serving the market. But if you look at things, if you look back over an entire year, you can really start to see trends. You can start to see things that went well, things that didn't. And you can kind of, together as a team, kind of hypothesize what would be the most, productive moves for the business.
Cool. I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
Another one.
Let's do another one.
Well, I'm feeling over here.
Oh no.
Oh no, it fell off. I have to ask you a question now.
No, so if it gets stuck, you ask me a question.
Oh, so
if
sad.
it falls off 2 more
I'm so
times, though,
close.
you'll get a prize. I
Okay,
know.
all right.
I mean, if we get to the end of it and
No, it's
just
okay.
have a burning question.
No, it's fine. Another
Ooh.
business question
Going all
for a man who didn't even go to business school.
did you? Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You
College is
finished?
great for people who want to go to college.
Hey, yep. I loved college. Luke did not.
Yeah.
You.
well, we didn't have to. We didn't
Luke
go.
tried. No, he did. He
Oh,
went,
yeah, he did
He
go
went for
for a
2
year,
years.
yeah.
He went for 2.
2
He just
years.
switched
I didn't even know that.
his whatever it was.
His major.
Well, it was at Cape Fair, so like I don't
It
even know what you call it.
Isn't even a major. It's a discipline or it's
Yeah.
yeah.
So like he didn't have enough credits in one, whatever, like direction to.
Yeah,
count.
that's funny.
Anyways, what advice would you give to a person either about to start a business or early on in their business ownership journey?
Oh, yes. This is great. My main piece of advice is to really weigh what you need to pay for and what you can do yourself. Because what ends up
that's a good
happening
one.
is there's 2 different types of entrepreneurs. There's the kind that spend hundreds of thousands of dollars starting a business, and then there are the kinds who won't spend a penny.
Yeah.
And that balance is crucial to starting a business. And I would say try to do as much as you possibly can on your own, and only start to spend money when you can see that traction start to build in your business.
Yeah, that's good. I don't feel like anyone's given that
Yeah.
advice before, but I'm definitely.
Well, I can't tell you how many times people
Yeah.
have talked with me about patenting and trademarking.
Yeah.
And their first step is like, I got this patent attorney. They said it'll cost $10,000. I'm like, can you please make a prototype of the product by yourself?
yeah.
And just try it and
See
see
if
if
it's
it
worth it.
works.
Yeah.
And like, try to sell it to 10 of your friends. See if they'll buy it. Like I've been on both sides of this. I've
Yeah.
spent too much money and I've not spent enough money. And I will tell you that balance is difficult to find.
Yeah.
But erring on the side of spend less money, do it yourself is good for small business. Now, if you're trying to scale your business, that's completely different. You got to spend a lot of money to scale.
Yeah.
But when it comes to establishing your product or business, spend less.
Yeah, get it going. That's good advice.
Cool.
I like it.
All right, down the middle. No whammy, no whammy, no whammy.
Whoa.
Okay, literally,
All
I think
ones.
we're just going to do all business questions.
Okay.
I would like a personal question.
Okay.
I'm kidding. It's fine.
Okay, this is one of our more generic questions that's in here for everybody.
Okay.
So I don't know how you're going to want to answer this one.
Okay.
How did you get into your current line of work?
Well, I started my first business at 13.
He dropped his first album in elementary
Oh, that's
school.
true. My first album I dropped at 10 years old. It was an album about food.
It was great.
But I started to do graphic design when I was 13. And then
Yeah.
I did my first paid client work at the age of 15. So that's when a random person actually paid me to do work. It was a website for $200. And if anyone here builds websites, they know that's not a lot of money.
I built one for like $300 when
Yeah.
I was getting started. And I
Yeah.
was like, woo, I did it.
Right.
Got
It's
a
just about
client.
getting it done.
Yes.
So that's how I got into it. I actually was mentored by someone at a local church because they brought me on as their graphic designer. And it was great having someone who was like, no, that's not right. That's not working.
Yeah.
And you find a lot of things don't work. But how you really get into, like how I got into my line of business was trying things out and failing constantly, and continuing to look at how other people did things in my industry. So for graphic design, it's looking at a ton of design, looking at billboards, looking at, brochures, and just taking it all in and seeing what decisions people were making.
Cool. I like it. Did your entry into production, just in case we don't get any
Yeah.
2 questions, have anything to do with my high school Spanish class project?
Oh gosh.
when you had the green screen set up.
Yes.
Your dad built the green screen in your room.
Funny enough, what I don't even know how I've done like 3 or 4 projects for people, and
All I remember is we had to do some sort of newscast, like
Yes,
in
okay.
Spanish, and so me and whoever was like in my class project at the time, literally like came to your parents' house and like set up in your room.
Yep.
Because it had the green screen.
Oh, I
and
had a
we're like fumbling through trying to like read the weather in Spanish or something.
I'll tell you what, shout out to my dad, Mark Tippett, who
For
was
real.
willing to build a stage in my room,
Yes.
install a lighting pole,
And
like
do the electrical
do-
in
do,
here
like-
with Luke. So
oh,
we
did he
could
do?
set
Yeah,
all this
yeah.
up.
So he
Yeah.
really empowers his kids to just do things as long as it's
Chase their
related to
dreams.
construction and electrical. That's great.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, last one.
I think
Let's see what
I'm
we
feeling
get.
a personal question.
Okay.
I'm just
If
feeling
not,
it.
I'll pull one. If not, just for fun.
Well, let me go this one again, see if we get a different result.
Okay. Oh,
We did it.
we did it.
Wow.
Watch
Wow.
it be like not. There's some that I think are fun and some that are like not.
Well,
my
if you don't
favorite.
like the one that you pull
I'll
out,
pull another
you
one.
can. You can. That's you. It's your prerogative.
Okay, this is actually it's a good one for you. I already
Okay.
know the answer. What's your favorite local go-to place?
Savorez.
Yep.
I didn't even have to think about it. This is good for
I
all of
didn't
you
even
out there.
have to think
You know
about
what
it.
I should have done? I should have said something not Savorez, like
I know.
McDonald's. That way people didn't know about
Like,
Savorez and I
shop.
could keep it all for myself
Yeah.
because I'm selfish when it comes to Savorez.
Okay, follow-up question.
Yeah.
For your birthday this past year, how
Yes.
many times did you eat and/or get a gift certificate to Savorez?
3 times.
Okay.
Maybe 3. No, 4? 3. It's a lot. One thing is my clients actually know that I like Savorez and they'll send me gift certificates every year to
great.
Savorez,
Yeah.
which I love it.
Yeah.
To the point that one year, Marie, the general manager, she got a call from one of my clients and they said, this needs to be mailed to Jacob Tippett. I'll give you the address. She was like, oh, no. I'll just give it to him tomorrow. And
He'll be back.
my client was so confused. He was like, I thought this was like some special place. It's like, it is special.
Yes.
Okay.
It is. It's very special. Perfect. Well, we did all the coin drops.
Awesome.
If there's anything else, and we have a few more minutes if you want to drop
It's up-
another one, or
I mean, it's up to you. This
We
is
can
your
just
podcast.
it-
I'm
well,
just a guest
You're
here.
just a guest. I give my guests free reign. Let's see. Let's draw one more just for funsies.
Well, did we cover all the strategy stuff you wanted? Like,
you know, that's
or
a
is
great
this really
question.
just, we're just talking?
We're just talking, pulling questions out of a can.
Are there any strategy things you've been confused about any decisions I've made in business that you're like, he did what? Why?
Yeah, so there's this one time.
Because honestly, I'm very non-traditional in many
Yeah.
of my business decisions. And part of that is because I go more based on what I value versus what actually might work, which is kind of an issue sometimes. Like, I hate social media,
Yes,
but my
you
business
do.
partners are good at it and love it. And that's nice. If you don't like social media, that's okay. That's me. I've been off social media for 4 years now.
Yeah.
And it's been the healthiest thing for me personally, which I prioritize that over business success. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, though, your business probably needs to be on social media. And
Yeah.
I'm on a social media marketing podcast, so I
Yeah.
understand that. And actually, you manage paid ads for one of
Yes.
my companies.
Yeah.
So
I would agree with you that social media is very important, but I also think like I use my personal social media some, but not like I definitely try not to use that as much. And maybe that's just because we're using other people's social media.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tell people, I'm like, I don't love social media for personal use, but I love it for business.
Well, is it kind of because when you're in something, you like see behind the curtain? And like most people who go onto social media that we know of, they're just
Yeah.
going to see
scroll.
pictures of their friends and like,
yeah, I do end up like saving things to be
Right.
like, oh, that's really this like brand did this. That's really
I think
cool.
we're
I'll save it.
just-
So I think
we're
just
working.
It's still work. Yeah.
We're still working.
It's still work.
No.
Or it's like kids clothing and then I go down some rabbit hole of like
Right,
my kids
of
don't
shopping,
need-
right?
Yeah.
So
that's terrible.
Pinterest is honestly the only social media platform I still use.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean,
You have to.
it's perfect.
Yeah, I mean-
everything about it.
Yeah.
It sells me things that I want, and I'm okay
is
with
like
that.
my argument with like people like, oh, the algorithm is terrible. And there are some things that, there's some gray area for sure.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm like, if it is going to put my data points together and serve me up the jeans I want without me having to go scour the internet to find them, by
Worth
all
it.
means, bring
Worth
them.
it.
And they're only going to show up when they're on sale because that's when they're running ads.
I mean, I'm okay with that too.
Like,
Yeah.
bring it on.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I think back to your like other point, like delegate it or find
Yeah.
someone who
Find someone who can do
loves it and can do it well
Yeah.
and don't worry about
and
it.
be authentic to your brand.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to do social media the same way everyone else does.
No.
You can be more personal to what you believe is, beneficial to the people who are going to be consuming your content.
Yeah. And email marketing is better than social media anyways.
Yeah, now I will tell you, email marketing is the best. That is where my companies make most of its money, is through email marketing.
Yeah. Most like true, like you sometimes do have to use social media to get people onto your email list, but the actual conversion, I think it happens more often and at a higher return through email than it does on social media. And I don't think people always connect the dots and funnel it there.
And actually, if this is a little plug for Laura, she developed some very top secret strategy for one of the businesses that involved some of those similar tactics. So,
crazy.
Yeah,
it is my favorite. Okay, sweet. Well, is there any last thoughts you would want to leave? So most people watching are small business owners. Most of them are local. Is there any last piece of advice you would want to leave someone with who is kind of in the same business ownership journey that we're in?
in a similar business ownership journey.
Well, just in it,
just in
everybody's is the same and completely different all at the same time.
Yeah. I've actually seen, this is probably what I'd leave people with. When you're starting something yourself versus starting something with someone else, I think the dynamic's very different. Like you've started some things with Luke and then you've started some things without Luke.
Yeah.
And I think the way that you manage that idea is different. And what I've found is you sometimes have a healthier objectivity whenever you have other people involved because you don't treat it like your baby as much.
Yeah.
And so even with sticky notes, like bringing in a business partner after the idea was already incepted, that was difficult for me. Thankfully, I had a trustworthy and very supportive business partner who was willing to take that baby as well. But don't treat your businesses like babies would be my last piece of advice.
Sometimes you got to let them go.
They got to.
Or sometimes you got to do really well and sell them.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to sell your
You
kids.
gotta exit it.
Sometimes you have to kill your kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, this is really like all the things. But then sometimes your kids grow up to be really successful.
Yes.
And then those are the kids you really love.
And they take care of you when you retire.
Yeah, they do. They take care of you when you retire. So all we're trying to say is there are some good kids out there, and you can create the most beautiful kids. Yeah. And they're also kids in the sense that like the amount of dedication you put towards that kid. We're not just talking about parenting, are we?
No. This is like parenting your business kid.
Yeah, it is. But the more you put into it, the better it'll do in life.
Yeah.
And so if you really want that cash cow, you're not going to get it till you're 60 or 70, and it's going to take 30 plus years of effort in investment.
So make sure you like what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. Make sure you love what you're building, and kill the kids you don't like. That's gonna be my. Is that gonna be my?
That's gonna be the real.
That's gonna be my real.
J. Cole audio.
Yeah.
No, Laurel Sinek, when she was on, she was talking more about like the process of writing, but her advice was kill your darlings.
Yeah.
Like kill that first idea that you're like so attached to because your next idea is going to be better. Well, awesome. Cool. People can't find you on social media.
No, you can't. But you can find my businesses on social media. You can find at Sticky Nodes with a D. You can find at Production Online.
Yep.
And then you can't find Pioneer Lab.
No. But you can get.
You can get coffee at Maven.
At Maven,
and you can buy sticky notes at Maven.
And you can buy sticky notes there. And you can buy literally
all the best fellow products ever.
Yeah. Shout out to them for this.
This is called
mug.
the Carter mug. Yes. It is a travel mug that is insulated. It
has
some
a
of them even
coating on the
inside.
It
does. Some of them even have. We're now just going to sell products for the next. I can sell some products now in terms of talking, but I can't on social.
We will grab. When we wrap this, we'll grab some sticky notes so that we can have them to show for our prize for the next.
Oh, cool! That sounds great.
Next episodes when they get stuck.
Is there a prize for this episode?
No, because you didn't have 3 fly off the board. Your prize is getting to spend time with your sister-in-law on.
Oh, we
Wednesday.
never get to do this.
We don't.
Not on Wednesdays.
Not on Wednesdays.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yes, thanks for walking down the sidewalk to record with us.
Yeah, and if you have any follow-up questions, just come to Maven Coffee and poke your head through and yell at me. I'm in the computer in the back.
Yes.
Actually, don't. I hate.
Actually,
I
I was
hate
like,
it
do
when
you
pe- I hate it
really
when
want
people
people to do
No.
that? Yeah, don't do that.
But I'd be interested
Yeah.
if people would.
So
I think
when we talked about not cutting, we're still not going to cut that part, but that would be the part we
that
would
would be the
cut
part.
if we
Okay,
edited
cool.
this podcast.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm not used to things that aren't cut, so
You did great.
I feel like I did fine.
Yeah, no, you did awesome.
Yeah. Especially the part about killing kids.
Yeah. That was definitely the highlight of this
Okay,
podcast.
cool.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, and catch whatever the next episode's going to be. I don't even know numbers anymore, so.
It's
Here we go.
episode number.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Toucan Talks, brought to you by Kickstart Collective. If you loved this episode, be sure to subscribe wherever you watch podcasts, and follow Kickstart Collective on Instagram at Kickstart Collective.